Cringe vlog 2. Take 2. Part 2. So I just reviewed the last video I did, which is the video before this one. Duh. I was gonna erase it, but it's not. You know what it is? Like, I'm not used to, like, talking about, like, things in my life or my emotions or feelings. Very seldom do I share, like, the things that go on in my life. Because when I was open with things in my life with certain people, like, they would criticize and, you know, that whole bullying stuff, that all that business about people, like, possessive or controlling people in your life, posing as friends when in reality they just want to, like, run your life and try to. And just bad experiences in general. But I looked back and I was like, you know what, this is the real, raw, like, me. The Janelle Songbird that people don't know. The Johanna Yachel Pineda Valerio. Stanislavski de Pineda Valerio. Long last name. This is the real me. And I'm just talking about things that have occurred in the past 24 hours. And like I said in the last video, I was locked out today. And he was like, don't, you know, just in case, leave the door open, he said. I guess he was concerned, my boyfriend, he was concerned because I had the keys and maybe I'd be out when he got back home. So yeah, a lot went on today. My ex-boyfriend, who, you know, I was with for 3 years, I don't have the heart to tell him, and maybe he'll see this video and he'll learn through this video, but I just don't have the heart to tell him that I don't feel the same for him anymore. Like, he wrote me all these nice things, and he's like, you know, I'm pretty sure he's being honest with his feelings, but it's one of those things where it's, like, too late. Like, he should have said all those things before, and he even said that, like, he should have, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? No. I joke too much sometimes. It's, like, so inappropriate. But whatever. I can do whatever I want on my channel. No. I do want to conserve people's feelings. And if someone's like, relating to, like, him being, like, the ex-boyfriend or the ex-girlfriend that is regretful because she didn't open up and was, like, kind of fake throughout the relationship. And that's what it is. Like, he was not himself 100%. And that's all I wanted him to be. And I would tell him, I just want you to be yourself. Like, it got to the point where it made me insecure of me. And then he would, this is going to sound really bad, but he would, like, body shame me. And, you know, he would just attack all my insecurities. And he would do it in a very passive-aggressive way. And sometimes I speak to him subliminally. Like, I told him that the hardest relationship I had, like, where the breakup was with this one ex of mine, because he was very passive-aggressive, and he would say things under his breath, or he'll, like, you know, he'd say, oh, well, you're stupid, you know, like, things like that. I'm like, oh, he's like, I'm sorry, you know, like, just the passive-aggressiveness. And it didn't help that he was a pothead, because it made it, like, worse. Like, everything was a joke. But I don't know, I speak to him directly and subliminally. Like, it's just, like, it's a pain in the arsehole to talk to him and try to break it down. But here's the bottom line. I just don't feel the same anymore. Like, I try to even look back at pictures and memories, which I generously shared with him. I'm like, hey, at least we have the memories. Like, like I said in another video, I'm the worst person to break up with people, because I never want the person to hate me or feel bad. But those things are, like, they're kind of inevitable, because the person's going to probably dislike you or resent you to a degree. And there's absolutely nothing you can do to change their mind. Even if you are the nicest person to them, there's, like, little to nothing you can do. They're going to feel the way they feel. And, you know, just got to look back. Like, I look back at everything. I analyze and reanalyze already overly analyzed thought, you know, the circumstantial, like, analysis, you know, I did everything possible to try to understand why I felt the way I did, why, you know, everything changed. And he knows, like, how I feel. Like, he's not an idiot. Like, he's like, well, if I should have, if I would have done this, or if I should have done, we would be together now, and like all this stuff. And it's like, if Elvin wasn't in my life, it may have been harder for me to say goodbye to him. And that sounds really bad because some people will call it, oh, well, then he's your rebound. No. And I said this to Freddie, like Frederick's his name, the ex. I said this to Frederick. I was like, listen, I didn't have any idea or plan. Like, I did not plan, nor did I have the desire to start another relationship. Like, this was like out of nowhere. Like, out of nowhere. Like, he didn't just like slide in or slip through my DM. Like, some people would say that, like, he slid into my DM. But he didn't. He just hit me up and was like, hey. And he said something like, God bless you. Like, I'm sure he's done this with a lot of people. He has. Females and males. He's always like trying to like spread the word of God, and like, he's a good guy. And like, my son has never like been so giving. Like, my son just gave him like this whole wardrobe. Like, and what's crazy is that Elvin, my boyfriend now, when he was living in Texas, because he's only been here in Connecticut for 2 months, but when he was in Texas, he had purchased all these, feet again. He had purchased all these like clothes, and like, he loves Nike. And he was making a good amount of money. A lot of it he sends back to, back home, back to Honduras to help his parents and his brother and his sister. He's like really like, he's like this martyr for his family. I was at one point too, until I had my kids, and couldn't afford being a martyr anymore, or just like the hero or whatever. But he still is, and he's very dedicated to the pastors, like the preachers out there that pretty much saved his life from like basically took him off the streets from like being a thug and all that. He has a very good very powerful testimony, which I hope I will definitely support him to like be that person, to like be the beacon of hope for a lot of young men out there. But anyway, he left all these clothes in Texas. He let all these like boys that he worked with have his shoes and things. And he plays soccer. He let somebody have his cleats. Like, he was just that kind-hearted person that wanted to like give back to the community, give back to people that didn't have or couldn't afford. He's like, whatever, and then he knows my cousin's here, so he came to Connecticut to work and get his license to be an inspector for like construction sites and carpentry and like all this stuff, like architect, like all that stuff. Sorry, I'm like getting tongue twisted. And anyway, he's a really humble guy. So, excuse me, I explained it to Nick, my son, and he's like, Mom, let me get him all this stuff. And they happen to be like the same size. I mean, pretty much. He gave him these like white pants that were like David Beckham, like soccer, like sweats or whatever. He loves them. And Nick's like, did he like the shoes? Like, he just is like, he left with like a new shirt, and new shoes. A lot of stuff he gave him is like brand new. He's like, he took all his clothes away. I was like, I didn't take anything away. But he was just saying it just kind of like, did you take all his clothes away? Like, he wasn't accusing me of this. I was like, no, he has so many clothes. He just basically has like the same 3 shirts in 3 different colors. Like, it'll be the same shirt in 3 colors. And he gave you like the most basic colors that he thought you might like. And including his shoes, like, he got these like new pair of Nike shoes that he maybe wore once or twice, but the color is not like his favorite. It's like he'd wear it depending on the outfit, but he has like a darker pair of those same shoes. So he's like, okay, and he was like so humbled by it and like so happy, and gave him a pair of Sperry's that were given to him by his grandmother, my son. He gave to Elvin, and I was like, you haven't even tried those on. He gave him a leather jacket that's hanging over there. I mean, it was like so nice of him. And then he prayed for Nick. It was just like this beautiful connection. I was like, wow, this is like crazy. This is unexpected. So anyway, I'm a little nervous because tomorrow I'm going to meet my cousin, the pastor to this church. And I don't know how much she knows, but they are aware that him and I have been talking. And it's one of those like taboo things where it's like, what is she going to ask me? See how big my eyes are getting? What's she going to ask me? How am I going to answer? I can't lie, but I can't tell her everything. So I'm kind of stuck in limbo right now as to how I'm going to approach it. I'm just going to do everything to avoid bringing that up. I'm not going to get paranoid. Anyway, so this is another cringe-worthy video for me because I'm saying a lot. I'm speaking on like a lot of things that are in my feels. Like I'm feeling like some kind of way. And tomorrow is another day. And I rhymed and I meant it. No, I didn't mean to rhyme, but whatever. I wanted to say something else. Oh, something supernatural happened. And I want to share that too. It involves a friend of mine that passed away in June, I think, or July. It was this past summer. And he was somebody that was extremely dear and special to a lot of like my mutual friends in the industry in DC, like nightclub and bars and all that. It was like supernatural like activity via Facebook. Like he passed away. And really what it is that he hit like on a picture that I took with my daughter and my son. And it was like 2 days ago, but he's been deceased for like a couple months now. And I feel like it was his spirit. It had to have been. Because I seen his activity. No one knows his account. Nobody knows in his family knows about me or my kids. And I did share some details about my daughter and things that had gone on with her. I was like in tears. And he's like, hey, if you ever need a friend, I'm here for you. I was in tears and I was just like, thank you, John. You know, like, his name was John Yang. God rest your soul. I love you. I want to believe what it is. And there's no other explanation for it. Like, he has zero activity on his account except for when people like post on his page, and then out of nowhere he then hits like, I mean, that's just a phenomenon. And you know, I just believe in it. Some people be like, oh, it was just a fluke, or maybe it was one of his friends through his page, or I don't know what. But no, I'm not accepting it because I knew him well enough to know how private he was. So there's like no way someone would know. And like, who's viewing it? Like through his, he wasn't married, so it wasn't like a wife or anything. Like my hair's like paraphernalia like on the bed. So, I mean, so that's all. I don't know what else to say. I'm just like I'm still a little perplexed, but I feel better in sharing all the things I just shared. Hopefully they make sense and they're not too cringeworthy. Hopefully. Have a good night. Please hit like and subscribe. And the next video is going to be a very small video of myself and my boyfriend Alvin. So you get to see him for a few seconds. Because I didn't keep my camera on him, but you'll see how he looks. Take care.